Good evening and welcome to the Late Night Business. My name is Ian Dennis, and as always, each and every week we have a very interesting show lined up to speak matters entrepreneurship and business. And today it's no different because I have with me a lady who's literally has done it all and has been recognized even by Joe Biden with a lifetime award. She is the founder of ISIS Modeling Agency. She's done quite a lot. But before I get to mention her name, I want to remind you that you're here at the Capital Club, the place you need to be as an entrepreneur, because at the Capital Club you have access to a wide array of amenities. We are shooting it just from one of the meeting rooms, and you can actually get access to the spa, to the gym. There's an entertainment area, so once you're a member of the Capital Club, you have access to a wide variety of amenities. I also want to remind you that two of my books, one, Business Conquest and Food for Thought, are actually out at the Textbook Center. Go grab yourself a copy. I'm speaking about Joan Okorodudu. Hope I got that name right. I'm trying to get my Nigerian accent right.
Yes, you got it. You got it.
Thank you so much for having come to the show.
Thank you very much.
You're 66 and you look so young.
Thank you.
If I was to guess,
that's what everybody says. That
what's the secret to keeping young?
Well, my products just came out. You know, I've been using my product for years, and my grandmother taught me. You know, but I have the products now. It's going to be launched on the day of the show. People can get it. I've got the moringa. I've got baobab. If you use baobab, you know, but it has to be right. You're gonna stay away from wrinkles for a long time.
I can see no wrinkles, nothing. Keeping all young all through.
Thank you.
The first question I like starting all my conversations with: what exactly are you most grateful for today?
I'm most grateful for life, for the fact that God gave me the most wonderful family. Apart from the family that I married into, I was born June Ilumilu. I've got the most amazing brothers and sisters. I've got nice cousins. I've got then I married to the most wonderful family also, Okorodudu, and God gave me the most amazing husband. Believe me. It's not everybody that can say they're lucky. I've been lucky. And of course, gave me the most amazing son, my grandchildren, 3 girls and 1 boy. And then of course, my daughter-in-law, who I mean, I can say she's, anything about her is like I'm her mother, you know, and she's part of my life. And I love her so much.
What keeps you going on? Because let's say in Kenya, most of the time our retirement age is around 55 to 60 for most people. At 66, you're still going on quite strong.
Yeah.
What keeps you going on?
Oh, I love to. It's the brain. Let me tell you, the brain power. The day you stop using your brain, Alzheimer comes in, dementia steps in. People don't understand that the brain is like a mechanical. You know, as long as you use it, it's gonna work. If you notice when, like now, you're on vacation, you're not doing anything, all of a sudden you will forget things. I don't care who you are. The bottom line is that life is being set up like that your body is a mechanical body. It's like, you know, the aircraft. My husband will always tell you as a pilot that the day you lock up a plane and leave it on the ground for more than 1 week, the plane is gone. Plane has to be flogged. He always says, you know, it's a military pilot, but you have to constantly use your body. And if you don't use your body, you're done. You know, you're going to be in trouble.
What keeps you this hungry?
What keeps me
this hungry?
Hungry?
Yes, because I'm like, you're about to launch.
I'm actually looking for the next step. You know, my brain is always working because I think I took part of my mom and part of my dad. My mom was a good getter. You know, every time I've seen her, anytime I saw her when she was alive, she's always thinking of one thing or the other, okay? So I'm hungry because I want to succeed. I want to change lives. If I wasn't the way I've been, the way I have been brought up by my father and my mother, I've always seen my mother and my father show kindness. It has always been kind. I remember when we were in school, you bring your friends, you know, back home. When you're going back to school, you're going to get the same thing that your friends, you brought the friends home. My father is not going to give you something that's not going to give your friend. So sometimes and my friends now realize that, oh, if you go home with her, you're good. So after a while, I just say, oh no, you know, because other friends want to come and, you know,
because they're
so,
going to get
So my father has always shown people kindness. My mom, same. Because I remember when my mom died, a lot of people came from all over the world wanting to pay their last respect. And ended up, after the Saturday, ended up going to the airport and going back home to America and all that without even stepping to see family members. That's to show the kind of person my mother was. She was such a great person. My mother went to motherless baby home, went and saw a child. The child was brought the child now is our brother up till now, you know, and you know. So show kindness. That's the most important thing.
Speaking about your parents, one of the things I was just doing a research on you was that you're born at a time where there's the Biafra War.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that right. And it was such an intense moment for Nigeria at that particular point in time.
Yeah.
How exactly was it growing at a point whereby, as a country, experienced such war?
You know, when...
How did it impact you?
Yeah, when people see my baby pictures, they know that I was from the upper class of the society. I knew I used feeding bottle, I had I have pictures of everything. I have, you know, I went to the best school. They called it All Saints School, Enugu. I was living in, you know, when you go to Enugu, you see this hill. We were living a great life. I mean, the life was so amazing because sometimes my daddy would put us in the car and we'll go to the village, have fun, and go back to Enugu.
That's in the 60s and 70s.
In the 60s, not 70s. And then the war came. We saw the other side of life. My God. I was, because I'm tough, so I could cope. My sister couldn't cope. My little sister, immediate sister, could not cope. And the head of the coup, you know, we call him Uncle Nzogu. My brother is actually named after him. He said he came to the house. I could remember he had a bandage on, and he called my daddy out and said, "You have to take them home now, not tomorrow. Get on now." So we left in the night, going back to my village on Icholana. And my father just kept telling us we shouldn't say anything. If the soldiers stop, we shouldn't say anything. So the soldiers stopped us at the head bridge on Ichan. I will never forget that. And they took my father into the bush. So I just looked at my sister. I said, "Daddy, and Wana, Daddy is dead." And
you were 6 at that point.
Yeah.
And you couldn't
I was tough. I was, as a young person, I was in charge. You know, and my father would always say, "Oh, I'm so happy you're the first child." So all of a sudden, all of a sudden, I saw my dad. I'm the first born for my dad, but I have a senior sister whom I love so much, Edith, and my father came out of the bush and was going like this. And the two guys didn't come out. My father had his pistol in his waist. They didn't come out.
Wow.
So my daddy got into the car and we started driving. We drove in the night. Sometimes my daddy would park the car because the Nigerian soldiers were on the way. Somebody had already hinted him, you know, using sign that they are there. So we ended up getting to Onicholana in the middle of the night. It was like about 3 a.m. My grandfather now told my daddy to take the car to the farm, our farmhouse. My daddy moved the car to the farmhouse, came back by leg. In the early in the morning, the soldiers now came through, and my father was in the attic. Somebody had already told them that my father was around. You know, there are spies everywhere. And the soldiers came and asked me. Thank God they didn't ask my little sister. And they asked me. I'm the Shapi. You know, I was sharp. You know, in Nigeria they call it Shapi school. You know. So they said, "Where's your dad?" I said, "My dad is not here." They say, "What do you mean your dad is not here? Who brought you back?" I said, "My dad brought us back, but he's gone through Ebu, that's my mother's village, and he's gone back to Biafra." Said, "You're sure?" I said, "Yes." So they left. I will never forget that night. They were singing a song called Igbogunaza Mujiria. Igbogunaza Mujiria. I remember that, you know, the Igbos are finished, you know, I mean. So when they left, my daddy calculated that they have actually left, you know. So I waited. I was like a little spy myself, a little girl who was a little spy. And as soon as it was like an hour or two, my grandfather called my dad. "You have to go." And we lost it. and my daddy went through again with the same our car and went through Ibu, because the soldiers now was going towards Iseluku, and then went through Ibu and then came out, went to Biafra, crossed the river, the bridge. He did not cross the bridge itself. I heard when he came back after the war, he went with the, what they call it, you know, these boats that carries car, the ferry.
Oh, the ferries.
Yeah, and he went across. And he now went to Biafra. We never heard from him until the war was over.
Wow, it feels like a movie. Like I can just play it, I can just see that it feels like a movie.
Until the war was over.
Wow.
We never heard from him.
And having been through that at such a young age, what are some of the values maybe that were instilled in you that primarily you can say primarily you've actually enshrined them, that has actually made you successful?
I've always been kind. I've always, because I saw myself, that's why when it comes to the Kakuma refugee girls, people don't know that there's a reason why, because whether you like it or not, I'm a refugee. I was a refugee myself. You know, going from, you know, All Saints Primary School, and then the week we're supposed to go with BOAC, British Overseas Airway Corporation, the plane, we're supposed to go on holiday. That was the week the war broke.
So primarily just life really
everything changed from having, I mean, you know, when I go into my daddy's seat, my daddy's car, there was a car seat for a child. It's not like we just started now. So when I see some miscreants, you know, some people who try to, if it wasn't the war, some people I wouldn't even be, you know, will not meet, our path will not cross. You know, my daddy was already thinking of me going to, he used to tell me when I was little, you're going to go to Rudin in London, blah, blah, blah.
So your life was
So unfortunately, the war came, things went wrong, and guess what? Everything that I went through molded me to what I am today, because I started going to the river to fetch water.
Just from being someone who was supposed to fly.
Just from
going to
us
London.
having cook. We ask us what are we eating in the morning. The cook will go into the kitchen, bring the food and put it on the table. You say, no, you can't hold the knife like this. You have to hold it like this. Now we're thrown into the village. Luckily, my grandfather built a very lovely home in the village. But everybody now came to my grandfather's house. All the people coming from Biafra and everything. Our life was upside down. Then my sister, thank God she didn't lose it, because there was no, you have to go and fetch water. And there's one place that we call Ogodo, which is, it was like water that accumulated, you now have to put alum, it will now turn into fresh water, whatever. But I loved going to that stream. Believe me, when everybody's going to the stream, I have my bucket, my udu, it wasn't even bucket, it's a pot. I put it on my head, I was so happy. Then I go to the water, there was a waterfall, I put the udu like this. It was fun, for me, it was fun. For me, it was so much fun.
So primarily you experienced extreme affluence, and then you went now to the opposite end.
Opposite end,
Yeah, and maybe just, what has it taught you, especially about money? Because I know there's always...
money is, let me tell you, I always tell people. That's why there are people in Nigeria, for example, that back in the days, they were multi-billionaires. You don't hear from them right now. They have some of the most wonderful houses. Some of them, their children have sold off the houses. You have to teach your children that, you know, you don't tamper with generational wealth. Some of them have wiped out everything, sold, and now they're back to square one. So it has taught me that money is not everything. If you have enough money to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, and also to give. They can tell you, every month I have my social corporate responsibility, that every month there are people that are on the list that they get money so that they can eat, so that they can, every month I have never ever stopped. I give. And I've also noticed that when I give, you know, I think it's like something about giving. When you give, when you're taking your hand, you're getting back. I think God has a way. That's why now I've set up my NGO, because at one time with this industry, I had sold land to be able to continue with what I was doing, because at the beginning I wasn't making money. I was not making money at all. I have to pay flight, I have to do this, take care of the people, get to places, pay for the hotel. I was not making money. But eventually, now we're making money. And I still spend my money. There are like some people who are stuck somewhere, $2,000, $1,000, you have to keep giving. But I've always told people that in the end, you have to have something that someone will remember you by. Okay, maybe you're long gone, 100 years, 90 years or whatever, and you're gone. Somebody will tell your great-great-grandchildren, you know, my great-great-grandmother was always talking about your great-great-grandmother, you know? Good stuff, but we also live in a society that you have criminally insane people, miscreants, never do good people, trying to bring down a lot of good people. And you wonder why some people don't even want to help. I'm beginning to think, I say, oh, this is the reason, but nothing stops me. I am a Porsche with no brake. I'm a Porsche with no brake, and I'm too legit to quit. So no matter what you bring at me, you throw at me, there's one thing that governs me, is the fact that God, I have a feeling that I'm an apple of God, I'm the apple of God's eyes. Because no matter what they try, they've even connived with some international media. Now they're all stuck. You know, the person is stuck, international media is stuck because all their bull crap have been found out. Imagine those ones that they have succeeded in destroying. Imagine, there are some people that they actually succeeded in destroying that have no way of explaining, oh, this is not what happened. But they're gone. And then they're forgetting that it's like a thread, okay? It's a conduit. It's a conduit pipe. If you had succeeded in destroying me, there are some people that never would have enjoyed what I'm up to, what I would have given them. And
what exactly your life has to offer.
Exactly.
And your life is very, very interesting. So you grew up in affluence, you went through the war, you managed to come back. I know, what's it called, just going through your profile. You started in the States, you were an athlete at one particular point in time. And you studied political science, which was very, very interesting. At what point now you decided to get into agency? What exactly triggered that?
Okay, well,
we can't.
Okay,
let's have 40 minutes. We can't go into everything. But
let me tell you. When I was young, okay, there's a picture that I don't know, he has. He's my tech guy, and he's the guy that runs out.
The producer. Right.
At 6 years old, before the war, we took a picture, and I was like this in the picture. I've always loved something. It's just who I am. So while I was in the university, I tried modeling, I tried everything, and I remember myself, Ekigbinedion, who is now, Kenyawese, who is now Ekigbinedion, Bimbola Kadoso, who is now Bimbola Benson, who is now Bimbola Kadoso. During our graduation at Boston University, my daddy couldn't come because there was no time to do his visa, or my mom, and Bimbola's mother came for the graduation, and we were all on the same table, and Mrs. Oprah Benson said, "Oh, you're so beautiful. I think you should do Miss Nigeria when you come back for your youth service." I said, okay. So during my youth service, it clicked. And I didn't do Miss Nigeria because I thought I was beautiful.
Oh yeah, because in Nigeria you have the youth service. That's after university.
Right. So I didn't think, okay, that I'm so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But I saw 2 brand new cars. And I said, man, come on. I saw the other girls. I say, I got to get one of these cars, because it was going to, I'm going to have
the
car.
win is supposed to be a car.
Yeah. Right. Like I also, during my Nigeria's Next One, we gave out 13 cars, brand new cars, eventually. So eventually, I got to the airport trying to check into the youth service, and I met my husband at the airport. He came to pick his senior brother who was flying Nigerian Airways. And my husband flies Nigerian Air Force and retired as a 2-star general, Air Vice Marshal. And that was it. 4 months later, we were married.
It took 4 months to get married?
Yeah, 4 months later. We met and we would have been married.
And this was 2 years later.
Can I tell you, we would have been married the same month if my mother was not screaming. My mother said, oh my God, you don't know him. Where did you meet this guy? This, But we got married.
Love is blind.
We're still together 42 years later, and we had fun. If there's any, I was telling them, if there was any party, and myself and my husband don't get in there. Oh, as soon as we come here, they're here, you know. So we had fun. We had fun. We traveled also together.
So to that particular point of that affirmation that you're beautiful, that triggered you to get into the
Miss Nigeria, and I won Miss Nigeria Kaduna. There were 4 zones.
States,
I won the Miss Nigeria Kaduna, and then at the finals I was first runner-up, and I won the other car. There were 2 cars.
Oh, so you won 2 cars?
No. The first runner, the winner won the car, and I was the first runner-up, and I won the second car.
Interesting. So we're going to take a short commercial break, and then after that you're going to be finding out about the Africa's Next Supermodel that Joan is actually up to, what exactly is it all about, but also besides that, just get to find out so many lessons from her, because she's done quite a lot, and you can't sum it up. The show is too short. So I'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the show. Before we went on a small break, Joan was just taking us through this interesting journey all the way from Nigeria to America, becoming the winner of Miss Nigeria in Nigeria, and then you went up to set up your modeling agency based out of this particular influence whereby you got the affirmation, you're beautiful, you can buy this, you tried it, you got it. What triggered you to set up a modeling agency? I
went for the Ford Model Search with Lex Mojo in 2007. When I came back, I said, "Oh no, come on! I'm gonna do a model contest." And at that time, I was starting my own brand, House of Jola, and you know, then I just said no. When I saw the show, I said, I can do something even better. So I came in, I spoke to Dr. Kola Odulami and Funke Kuti. They started the National Lottery and Power Horse, and they gave me money. And we started the biggest model search out of Nigeria. It was very good, okay? And I told myself, so when we went, after the search, I said, what next? We went to, at that time, South Africa was the place for modeling in Africa. So we went to South Africa, and Juliet Morgan and myself, she was working, now she's Mrs. AK, Juliet Morgan AK, she's in America. And she told me, she said, we're on the street, we're thinking of how we're going to do the fashion week was there. We didn't have an agency. We tried to go join an agency, but you know, on the way to going to join the agency, we looked at each other and said, are you thinking what I'm thinking, Juliet? She said, Auntie, I know what's in your head. Oh yeah, maybe we'll go set up our own modeling agency. We now went and tried to register the agency. I wanted to call it Mode Model, but it was taken in Cape Town. So I now called it ISIS. Isioma is my middle name. I took ISI, removed the Oma and added S, like the goddess Isis. And that was it. And even when this ISIS guys started their own problem, the American embassy asked me if I wanted to change the name. I said no, because I know that they're going to be history. And this name, this is a brand that I have built, and I was not about to lose it. And I also want to let people know that in 2014, Franca Sizioni, the editor of Vogue Italia, sent me a mail saying that they wanted me to see if we can do something together, blah, blah, blah. When I saw the mail, I thought it was fraud. And I said, oh yeah, you guys have started. And he said, no, call this number. I called. So I called and said if I could come to Milan. So I called my partner who has always helped us, Mr. Ifanyo Puta. I said, we got to go to Milan. So when we got there, we started talking about, you know, Vogue, you know, doing a talent search in Africa. He said, can you raise the money? I said, I think so. So I went, approached Access Bank, and then a lady, Annie, she was the one that actually said, okay, let's go to Access Bank. Access Bank gave me $70,000. As
a loan or as a grant?
No, as for the sponsorship. And then it was supposed to be $100,000. There was no way to get the money. I went into my bank account. I got the 30,000 euro and added it and sent. I wired the money to Vogue Italia. I wired it, wired the money. So When you see, and then the winner of the event, Laduma, from South Africa, my partner, Ifanyo Puta, paid for his hotel and his ticket to go to the event. We're going to upload a lot of stuff very soon. So I have tried my possible best to do things. You know, we're not, you know, in social media, you see people doing all sort of paparazzi, lying their way through whatever. They're the ones who are being put all over the TV and everything. They done nothing. All they do is collect money. You spend the money, and you know, but
something I'm very curious on is how does the business work in terms of, so you've mentioned you got into a partnership with Vogue.
Yeah, Vogue Italia, yeah.
And then you had to send them money?
I send them money, I send them the money, the 100,000 euro. I'm saying it. I'm here. I've got the receipt. I've got the wire transfer. So
what is the essence of that? For them to facilitate what?
No, for them to be able to, for the talent, you know, because the talents were sending their photos and everything. And that magazine for that talent something, of course they're going to print it. They're going to spend money printing it.
So for them to be featured.
So I was the one that raised money for them to be featured on it. Okay, so if you were part of Vogue Talent for Africa and you are from Africa, Laduma, Orange Couture, I mean, I have all of them, their names and everything. I paid for it. I raised the money. And
the thing about the modeling industry is in terms of, especially in Kenya, it's growing. It hasn't got into that particular level. From you who has done it internationally, how does one make money out of this, and how does one as a model or an aspiring model make it as a business?
There are three types of models. You have the top girls, they call them money girls. And you have the middle, and you have the lower girls. When you see a money girl, you will know.
What's a money girl? The thin ones?
No. We have a plus size that I booked directly to Valentino from here, Apollo Yom. She just came back from abroad actually. She's also in school, and she's done all the, she's done shows, she's doing well, she's done campaign. So she's plus size, she's beautiful, okay? Then you have the young girls who are 18, who will in a year make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, okay? Then you have you have all of them, from like Kakuma, they've removed their family from poverty, they're doing so well, and that's it. You must be either a money girl or you're not. But you see, with this, you have issues with some girls thinking that they're the same with a money girl. No, you're not.
What's a money girl?
When you see them, you know. You see them, I mean, Nyadula, Nyakong, Awoy, Atiek, Nyaraj, I mean, Hakima. The money girls, there are so many. Nyawagag, Imade, Ibukun, Anya, Molola. You're going to see some of them that day. Right, they're coming. Some people are coming. But the bottom line is that the money girls, I always tell models, nobody's your friend. The industry is nasty. This industry is
one is one.
Yeah, so you have to be careful, okay? You have friends, but you see the money girls are friends amongst themselves, because they're all making money.
Yeah, they're protecting their interests.
Yeah, but they're all making money, so there's no stress, there's no fighting, because this one is on the campaign for H&M, this one is on the campaign for Prada. I have my models from Rwanda, for example. I have two sisters who are building. You need to see the 14 flats that they're building, okay? Isheja and the sister, okay? Kenta, okay? I have Denise, I have Onella. Onella just bought,
So how you make money through this, if I'm getting it right, is just you have to go through an agency, and then through the agency you get subcontracted to
So let me tell you what happens, okay? For example, I booked some models directly with Gucci, okay? And Gucci says, okay, bring them, pay the ticket, we'll pay you, and immediately they always pay, okay? And that was directly. But now you always have casting directors. So if you have good looking model, or you think you have a money model, or money boy or money girl, you send them to the casting directors. But most of the time, we sign them to agencies. Like my biggest partner is Select Models, who are also partner with Africa's Next Supermodel. And then we have other agencies that I work with, like One Management, like PRM, Wave. I work with a lot of agencies. So you place your models in those agencies, okay? And then make sure as a mother agent, you monitor. So all the agencies that I work with, it's a partnership between me and them.
Also, so primarily when they get these deals, you also get a part of this.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also the model is actually being paid.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what triggered you now to set up the Africa's Next Supermodel? What exactly is the thought behind it?
Okay, so now we have Nigeria's Next Supermodel was taking models, you know, outside Nigeria. And I told myself, I said, the time has come. And I remember the very first Nigeria's Next Supermodel in 2007. I told myself, I said, I will take it continental when the time comes.
Yeah.
And I announced it there. I made it, I mean, there's a video. Yeah. And then 2001, I decided. I contacted Select Models and said, this is my plan. Okay, and actually it was an agency that I was in their office. You know, I don't want to call the agency's name, and they wanted to partner to do this. And I think immediately after they changed the directors or whatever. But anyway, when I contacted Select, Mateo, who is the most amazing young man, you know. Very comical, you know, he'll drive you crazy, very comical. You can say something now, he will say something and you think he means it. No, 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 he doesn't mean it because he was just joking. So I contacted him and I said, listen, this is what I want to do. He said, count me in. I said, you're not saying, no, I will think about it. He said, I think it's going to work. Because we're already working with him, sending models. He said, it will work. And then he agreed to sponsor also and put money on the table. And then of course most people don't understand that modeling is not the only thing that I do. I'm in real estate. Okay, I buy properties, Dubai, London, wherever, US, you know, and we're working on some here now. And of course Nigeria. So I do properties, you know. Now I'm trying to go into farming because there's this massive land that I have in Abuja that is so big. It's about how many? 17 hectares. Yeah. So it's a big land. So now we're thinking farming, you know. But this was where I was taking money from to do what I was doing.
Yeah. So you're getting money from the business. To really expand.
Yeah. But now we've started making money from the modeling.
Interesting.
But it took me. Let me tell you, it took me almost, how many years? It took me almost 10 years to be able to start making money because I was just investing. So if you want to do a modeling agency and you think it's very easy.
It's difficult.
No, it's a difficult terrain.
What keeps you very, very passionate about this? Because I can just see it by how you speak. I can just see by how your eyes are lit. What keeps you extremely passionate? To
see people happy, to see young men and women to change life. Even some are very ungrateful, you know, but like in every other, you know, there are some people who actually think that God brought you on this earth to do it anyway. So, you know, but when you have something at 100% and your 90% is working, you've done a good job. 10% forget it. Yeah, but you know, I also will tell young men and women to be watchful of some people who are, before somebody tells you to do something or you'll be this, watch the person's life. Has the person done well for themselves? They are naysayers. And you have to be very careful about naysayers because some people have jumped their glory and just somebody put some things in your head and that's it. But I have always believed in karma. Believe me, if you don't believe in karma, I've been watching karma play and it's like, it's unbelievable how karma just plays out.
And one of the things that you're also mentioning around as we're going through the conversation is in terms of over the years how you've gotten into investments, and through those investments you've put them back in your business. Having been where you are, whereby you've been successful, you've done investments all across the world, what are some of the lessons you've learned about investing? And what advice would you share to anybody watching this?
COVID messed things up. You know, we are just finally pulling out after 4 years from, you know, we invested in Dubai, for example, with a lot of money. And COVID came. And you sit and watch Dubai that used to have people in and out, in and out, was empty. All my properties were empty. Was not making money. And it happened for almost 2-3 years. Imagine if we were paying mortgage on those properties, it would have been done. I mean, we would have lost the properties.
Yeah.
So that is the lesson of investing. But I will always tell people, you can never go wrong with properties. That is the #1 investment that I would advise anyone to do. There was one particular property in London that I mean, I've got also properties in London, but there was one particular property that would have invested in London. And procrastination. Imagine a property in Waterloo, and then procrastination. That property is now worth £1.5 million. Sometimes I can't sleep. Sometimes I would be thinking I say, I would have gotten it. So properties are the best thing anyone can invest in. I will always advise anyone. You will never go wrong with properties, because if the worst comes to the worst, you sell one and move on with your life. You know, lands, there are lands right now that, you know, that we have, you know, and then all of a sudden my son wakes up and says, I saw this land, we got to do something, and then do a JV, joint venture.
Joint ventures,
yeah. And now, you know, you have properties in, you know, like an estate, you know, and out of the JV you get 3 properties or 2 properties or 5 properties, you're good to go. So, but those are lands that you bought years back, and it's working for you. That's it.
And
I've also advised my models to invest in property. Okay, some of these properties here, you know, the girls here say, come on, go put money down, you know, pay because you can afford it.
Interesting. And in terms of, you've invested quite a lot over the years. At the same time, we've also, I think we've not even touched into every business you've actually done, but also have gotten into business. But having been part of various businesses and various particular enterprises, what have been also some of the key lessons for one, what's it called, just looking back, even if you have to start another business, that you'll actually put into, in terms of you have to start again, what are some of the key lessons you've gained out of also your entrepreneurship experience?
To use bank's money instead. That's if you're in a country where bank works. Like,
it's very interesting. All the guests today are like, don't use your money. Don't use your money.
Don't use your personal money. It's not right. Just try and get bank's money. You know, like in the US. You know, so waiting for Kamala to win so that we can go get that money that we're supposed to use to start, you know, buying another property. You know, of course I voted for her, and like you said, I've gotten my Lifetime Achievement Award, and I'm happy. But fingers crossed, I think things are going to be all right.
And at where you sit, because it seems like you're never stopping anytime soon. What's next for you?
I've just launched my skincare line, okay, my product. So that is what I want to push now. And then, You've launched it at 66? Yeah. And keep going on strong? Yeah. I've just launched it at 66. So, you know, people don't know what we have in Africa. No cream can, you know, in America or anywhere in the Western world that doesn't have shea butter. Okay? The baobab tree that is mainly from here, okay, you know, in Uganda, here, the Chinese are even trying to see how they can uproot baobab tree. Because baobab tree, the way God has done it, they cannot break it to go and, you know, plant anywhere in the Western world. But they're trying to use whatever to uproot. It's not going to work. This continent is the continent of God. God has, you know, every good thing. Your phone cannot work unless you go get the lithium or whatever from Congo. Nothing works unless it comes from Africa. This is a great continent. That is why it pains me to see our youth dying on the Mediterranean just to get to Europe. And when they get there, there's nothing there. It's all fallacy. You can go to America today. Okay, we have doctors, African doctors in America excelling. We have African excelling in America. Why don't we excel here? That's what the next question that I'm trying to ask. We can now bring back those people and see. And you know, it's unfortunately, a lot of people don't want them back because they're good with the status quo.
Yeah.
But Africa cannot continue like this because it's a circle now. It went from Egypt, came into Europe, now went to Asia, it's coming right back to Africa. We have the largest number of youths in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
So they're doing their own thing. By the time people are dying, the African youths can take over.
True.
But they need equipment. They need to be equipped to take over.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the final question, because I think we can summarize it in time, just usually flies so fast. Out of your existence in life up to this particular point, what's that one lesson that you can share to the audience and maybe just to inspire the audience that's watching this?
There are people who are so mean, people who you cannot trust. There are people who will come to you with all sort of, you know, they're dying, they're doing, as soon as they leave, they're going to try to destroy you. Be very careful who you pick as either friend or whom you pick. And right now, before I help, you just ask God, please show me. Because there are people who are agents of the devil in a human form. Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
you have to be very careful.
I agree.
You know.
Thank you so much. Hope you've learned a thing or two from this particular conversation. Quite an inspiring journey. We can just see her from Nigeria to US to South Africa to all over. She's literally taking it all over. Hope you've learned a thing or two from this conversation. As always, my name is Ian Dennis. This has been the Late Night Business. Until next time, I'll see you right here on KTN.